Dear students, today we are going to discuss about the biography of Zulifqar Ghose, an important work written by Zulifqar Ghose, form and structure of Zulifqar Ghose's poem Disturbed Nights, and lastly we are going to analyze the poem Disturbed Nights. Zulifqar Ghose is one of the prolific writers of Pakistan. He was born in 1935 in Sialkot city of pre-partition India. In 1947, after the partition of India took place, Sialkot became part of Pakistan. Zulifqar Ghose's family settled in Mumbai in 1942. So he lived his early childhood in a city with a Hindu majority. Since the partition crafted rift and roughness in the Hindu-Muslim relations, Zulifqar Ghose's family felt insecure. The relations between the two communities became so strained that there were outbursts of violence. These outbursts also resulted in heavy causalities. Therefore, Zulifqar Ghose's family moved to England in 1952. Zulifqar Ghose received his early education at a secondary school in Chelsea. In 1955, Ghose got admission in the University of Kiel. He completed his graduation in 1959. At Kiel, he found the company of poets like Johnson and John Fuller. He remained a member of the group, which included poets like Anthony, Peter, George, and Peter Porter. Ghose had a successful career as a sports journalist. He also worked exceptionally well as a literary critic and teacher. The important works which are written by Zulifqar Ghose includes The Loss of India, which is a first collection of poetry which was published in the year 1964. The poems in this collection exhibits the nostalgia for his place of birth. A feeling of being other in the Western culture remains dominant in his poem. In the same year, 1964, he published a collection of short stories. In 1965, Zulifqar Ghose compiled his autobiography entitled Confessions of a Native Alien. Then Ghose's first novel, The Contradictions, was published in 1966. In this novel, he presents a contrast between Western and Eastern lifestyles and attitudes. In 1967, Zulifqar Ghose wrote one of the most acclaimed novels, Murder of Aziz Khan. The novel Murder of Aziz Khan portrays a power structure based on money and authority in Pakistan. The work of Ghose is most famous for his series of 3 novels, also known as Brazilian Trilogy. Dear students, now we are going to discuss about the form and structure of an important poem, Disturbed Nights, which is written by Zulifqar Ghose. Disturbed Night consists of 7 stanzas, and each stanza consists of 6 lines. The structure of 6 lines in a stanza is called a sestain. Zulifqar Ghose has employed free verse in this poem. It means that the poet does not observe any strict rhyme scheme or meter in the composition of this poem. The syntax of the poem is very simple, and at the same time there are reflections about past event and some generalization. The diction of the poem is also very simple, and it uses contemporary idioms. The imagery of the poem is lucid and realistic. In Disturbed Nights, we find that Zulifqar Ghose has incorporated the stream of consciousness technique which is generally employed in the novel. This technique empowers the author to look deep into the minds of the character. It exposes the conscious part of the human psyche. As far as the analysis of the poem Disturbed Nights is concerned, it is evident of the poet's extraordinary command of the description. The poem reflects the imaginative faculty Ghose' use of contemporary idioms is also reflected in this very poem. Zulifqar Ghose employs modern diction while writing Disturbed Nights. It presents a glimpses of contemporary lifestyle. Ghose wakes up to the sound of the siren of an ambulance. What comes to his mind is the casual perception about some road accident nearby. He guesses about the nature of the accident. He thinks that somebody was returning home from a bar on this humid night may have run his car into a truck. Drink and drive cases are very common not only in Western countries but also in ours nowadays. He further imagines that some young guys in a jeep may have been drinking beer and dancing to the loud rock music, and in the enthusiasm of the moment they might have lost control of the vehicle at some sharp bend. Zulifqar Ghose refers to the newspaper reports about such incidents. These accidents occur due to contemporary lifestyle of visiting bars, driving while drunk, and fondness for youthful adventures. This poem, Disturbed Nights, also presents a deplorable condition of social connectivity in contemporary society. People are so engrossed in their lives that they do not know what happens in the neighborhood. With the arrival of the ambulance, the poet comes to know that there is an emergency with a neighbor. Even upon the arrival of the ambulance, no one seems to notice the situation. Associated with this theme is the theme of isolation. In the modern urbanized world, despite so many hustle and bustle, man is aloof. People have no time to think about the cares and worries of others around them. The thread of relations has become very weak and unreliable. Disturbed Nights ends with Zulifqar Ghose waiting to see the true magnitude of the issue for which the ambulance has come. The lights of the ambulance are teasing his eyesight. He feels like going inside the house to relieve his eyesight. But the anxiety that arises out of inquisitiveness to know more about the incident keeps him standing there. Between the lines of the poem, Ghose comments on the pattern of the life of modern man. Human beings spend their whole life waiting for something to happen. They want to be clear about the circumstances, but if the wait goes on for a long time, it causes tension and anxiety. Disturbed Night by Zulifqar Ghose is a poem which is worth reading because the arrival of the ambulance in the neighborhood makes him call a similar event times ago. The lights of the ambulance take him to the world of theatre. The memory of a stretcher man reminds him of the UPS technician. While depicting an emergency in this poem, he does not compromise on the pleasing factor of the poetry. The diction and imagery of the poem attracts the attention of the reader. So, dear students, today we have discussed about the biography of Zulifqar Ghose. We have also discussed about the form and structure of Disturbed Nights along with the analysis of the poem. Thank you.